The Yeomans, this time I've gone back inside. The bees got too much for me. The sun were too much, so we're back indoors. Where pretty much I think every single MMA sort of person spends the time if you're not a fighter. Trapped indoors. So, we'll get right into it, boys. Could have done with an haircut, you know. I'm going to cut this part out, obviously, since I'm going to put this one on YouTube, so I'm free to say as I wish. Bit of thunder in the background there. Just wait for him to join. If you've got any questions for him, just feel free to ask away. I'm sure he'll answer. There he is, the man of the moment. Well, the man of the next 10 minutes. We'll get the next person on, but nonetheless. See if it wants to let him join. It don't want to at the moment, but we'll soon get him in. Try this one again. 5th time's a charm, I'm sure. No, it's not. Wait, is it? There we go. We've got there in the end.
Yo.
How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, thank you, mate. How are you?
I'm not too bad myself, so I'll get right into it. Obviously, it's another good fight for you as well.
Yeah,
so your last performance, I believe, back in February in Almighty Fighting as well, was a great night for Hit Squad Hall, and I'm sure they'll be looking to replicate. How are you feeling going into that fight in just a few weeks' time?
Yeah, feel real good. Feel fight ready. I think my last fight, I had my head screwed on right. I think the fight before that with Sam Curry, SPG again, kind of went in with the wrong mindset, a little bit more of a kickboxing Muay Thai mindset. And I think I've kind of changed as a fighter since then. So this one will be a nice test. And again, against another SPG lad, you know, I've got a bit of redemption to be doing. So yeah, I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, and as well, in terms of if you get the win here, that's put you at 2 wins this year against 2 very good opponents. Is there a sort of position that you see yourself by the end of this year, or a place of where you're looking to be, obviously without overlooking your opponent that you've got coming in just a couple of weeks?
Just to keep climbing the rankings. You know, reputation of the gym is you know, we've got a couple of number ones, you know, so I'm looking to replicate and do the same thing. You know, we are a number 1 factory, Hit Squad Hull, so that's just what we're here to do. Do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, and as you mentioned there with the number ones, obviously got George Sains, Joe Fields, Eddie Burns, a plethora of talent, Cole Gifford as well. Training around those sort of people week in and week out, and obviously a lot of the time you're on the same shows as well with George and Eddie. I know are on there. Usually getting that team atmosphere even during the preparation into the fight, just a couple hours ahead. How is that for you?
It's amazing. You know, like the rub off is awesome. You know, we all train together. We all teach each other things. And, you know, even George, you know, I get a lot of one-to-one time with George as well. You know, just learning from the best. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and then in terms of so far in your amateur career, you've fought very game opponents in each fight. And as you mentioned, you've sort of come in with a different mentality changes. Before, it was the Muay Thai sort of kickboxing style, and now the more MMA stance as well. So is that something that you'd account to the sort of performances that you've been putting out in your last couple of fights? Or
yeah, absolutely. You know, I have a very good ground game. I have good wrestling. I didn't utilise it in the first fight, and, you know, I was kicking myself for it. Then second fight, you know, I still utilise some of my Muay Thai skills with the clinch, but, you know, using a bit more of the cage, using takedowns, you know, there were things that you know, if I was to fight the Sam Curry fight again, they would be things I would have been doing. So yeah, I feel like a more complete fighter. You know, watching Cam as well, like, you know, he is very good in kind of every area, but I do think I am better in every area as well. You know, regardless of his kind of like youth MMA kind of career, you know, he's been in the MMA world for a little longer. But, you know, I think I can blend my martial arts together a lot better than he can. And I think he'll be a bit stunned when it comes to May 28th.
Yeah, and as well, in terms of sort of having that advantage of you're happy to be on the feet and happy to be on the ground, is that something that you think is going to play into your hands massively going into this fight? Do you think there's a certain thing that he's going to try and do, but he's not going to get the results he's wanting? Or are you just more focused on your own skills as opposed to his?
I can't really control him too much from that point of view of what he's going to kind of bring to it. So, you know, I have to be kind of reactive to that. But yeah, I think that, you know, he's going to have to put me to sleep to stop me. Do you know, like there's no stopping this train, mate. Like, you know, I bring the chaos when I fight. So I just don't think he'll be able to handle it. So.
Yeah, and as well, just going back a little bit, obviously got the background in the striking before you came into martial arts. So when you first made that transition into MMA, what was that also like for you?
You know, like I think there's no fear from you know the striking side of things. I think a lot of people going into MMA, maybe if they've come from like grappling, that's the thing that they fear the most. You know, that's out of the way for me. You know, and the jiu-jitsu is something that maybe I came to a little bit later and sort of added to the game. But no, like I say, you know, for me, it's one of those things really that I don't really see anybody kind of dealing with my experience. You know, I'm a lot older, a lot wiser. So yeah, man.
Yeah, and then in terms as well, we mentioned Cam Harrop is a very game opponent as well. And you said that he's going to have to put you out to stop you. Do you think with a win here, it's going to be sort of a statement victory to your division in the future, meaning that you can get the better fighters? Is this how you're feeling about this sort of fight?
Yeah, man, it's just climbing that ladder. You know, Cam's just you know, another stepping stone. So, you know, send me more SPG lads. You know, like I say, I've got that redemption. I've got to take them out. You know, where, you know, and again for that #1 spot, just next guy. You know, it isn't any sort of thing to me. So.
Yeah, and then as well, just going back to Hit Squad Hull, I believe it's quite a new base. I know the Scramble Academy leads as well that's involved there. Mm-hmm. So do you think also Hit Squad Hull being able to provide you all the aspects of MMA, whether it's wrestling, whether it's striking, they're there and they're able to support either attribute you're looking to include? And do you think that's been a big part for this camp as well for you?
Yeah, it's huge. You know, the team we have, the coaches that we have, you know, like it's probably one of the best in the UK. You know, the facility that we have as well is unrivaled. You know, yeah, again, having Scramble, having Liam there as a black belt jiu-jitsu as well, helping us. Stu Graham's, you know, coaching is next level. You know, I've got the influence as well of Sam Wilkinson. Been training with Sam for a long time now. So yeah, like, you know, we do have a very, very strong team. You know, it's not just myself. You know, it's everybody that's behind me as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously just final from me, going back onto the fight, is there an ideal way that you want this fight to go, or is there a sort of way that you can see this fight going, or is it something that you'll just take as it comes in the cage when you get there?
Take it as it comes, you know. I'd love a finish, it'd be sick. You know, there's nothing better than being dragged off a man, isn't there? So, I mean, you know, it is what it is. You know, but I'm prepared to go 3 rounds, you know, take him into deep waters. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and then finally, if there's any sort of your sponsors, teammates, coaches, anyone like that you want to give a shout out to, obviously just feel free to go ahead, buddy.
Just big up everybody at Hit Squad Hull, you know, all my teammates. You've named a few, you know, there's absolutely loads. Some who are popping up on the chat now as well. Yeah, so just big up to everybody. They're all a great bunch of lads. You know, I couldn't do it without them.
And I best say Smash Media ought to be telling me off as well, so I've got to put his name there.
Yes.
He told me to make sure. So I'll leave that one to it. But I really appreciate your time, buddy. I look forward to the May 28th fight. I appreciate your time, mate.
Thank you. See you later.
See you later, bud.